Truthfully, what happens is, as children grow up, we start to educate them progressively from the waist up. And then we focus on their heads, and slightly to one side.
I think in the old days, you were better off. Because nowadays, they're all specialists. Everyone's becoming better and better. And less and less. And eventually someone's going to be superb. Like nothing.
Our education system has mined our minds in the way that we strip mined the earth for a particular commodity. And for the future, it won't serve us. We have to rethink the fundamental principles on which we're educating our children.
We're not here to tell everybody that they're wrong and we're right. We're not saying that we have all the answers, but we'd like to present a different way of looking at it.
Mr. Chu, the majority of Western schools come to China, offer a Western-style education with Chinese methods, including language. It's a strategy that seems to be working. Now, this is obviously not your type of school because you're a Chinese-founded school, and you're adding some international characteristics to it. But also in this game now we have, which I have experience in, a Western school coming over and wanting to take advantage of this growing marketplace with a very young population.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they come in and they create, again, a bilingual type strategy, but coming at it a little bit from a different angle. So, as I said, 70-30, more towards the British way. And again, what's better? I guess time will tell.
Yes, time will tell. And another is the audience. You have to think about the audience. I believe the 30% that will work for the students who are able to listen to English. So a lot of students, and then especially in the new school, they need students. So to recruit the students who are not able to complete their curriculum. That's the problem.
That's a bad idea, isn't it?
Yes, that's a very bad idea. So for our school, that's how. Who is your target students? Right? If the 30% that's ratio school, their target should be the students can speak English.
A very good level.
Very good, and they can listen. They can learn math. Those kind of very abstractive, and then the academic stuff in English. Right? If the students could not speak English well and you force them to listen to English, I think we're wasting the children's time on math. But maybe they think, okay, this is good for them to learn English. But it's math class. We could not slow down the students, their academic progress.
Yeah.
So that's why our school is still bilingual, but the English in our school will be English, and then we have unit of inquiry, and then PE, arts, drama, and music. Those kind of they can explore things. There's not very clear standards like math. They're very clear standards. You have to pass this level according to the national curriculum. Yeah. So otherwise, the students have no chance to transfer to other school because in this particular school slow them down. Right?
Yeah, and I just think to myself, what would I be if I was chucked into a classroom where I didn't understand anything that was being said?
Yeah.
And
I
don't know
their
how
confidence.
Well, that is one element of it, isn't there? So yeah, it's a real challenge, and I can't say I've seen that, and I do feel for that as well.
And a lot of students, they're very fragile now, and if they can't listen to, they will think they're stupid, and they destroy their confidence. And if they slow down, they also always have their other friends, and the other friends get like 90 out of 100 on their exam. They only get 70 or 80. They will feel, am I bad? Right? They will question themselves.
Cool, I've got to read this. apparently a director at a school, bilingual education institution in Beijing, it offers various subjects to Chinese students, said when the Chinese education methodology meets the Western style, there are usually conflicts. I think conflicts can be positive, though, through differences in opinion. We can come to new ways of thinking. Chinese teaching is about repetition and exams, it says, while the Western style is about discovery and discussion and openly looking for the answer rather than having the answer given to you. I got to say, from my knowledge of things, the teachers coming over from England, America, it's a lot of teaching to the exams happening where I come from now. We can't just isolate and just say it's happening in China.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Do you like that rap?
Yes. I think that's true. That's very true. And that's why we learn from each other's culture and the way of education. So just like assessment. So when we come back to say American and British, the way how they can apply their university, England highly depends on how much you get on your A levels. American, they branding themselves they don't care about the SAT or some APs. Oh, you can say the Harvard, Princeton, those successful applicants, they all get almost a full score on their SATs. So SAT and those scores always important. So, but in Chinese way, we say that we just put it too heavy. They thought the assessment will be the only thing they need to do. So that is not wrong because the culture and the situation of the country, a lot of population, they have to have something to select it in the people, right? So, but now about discussion, shared opinions, critical thinking, and then innovative, those things is the Chinese education should learn. And I think Chinese education field experts or the minister already say that. They know it. So the new Chinese national standards will publish this one maybe next year. So they will talk about how to do cross-disciplinary education, how to make the connection from the knowledge to the real world. That will be a big topic in the new national.
It's coming. Is this probably going to come out next year, right?
Yes.
In 2022.
Yes.
When were they last redone, these national standards? We're talking many years ago, or?
I think 2003.
Okay, so this is big, yeah. This is going to be a whole new.
Yeah.
Your job's going to get very challenging, isn't it, when they drop?
But when we look at the 2003 national curriculum, they still encourage thinking, discussion about the things, just how the school implement them. The curriculum, the national curriculum, is encouraged a lot.
How it's interpreted.
Yes, and how the reality. If they're still using standardized tests to select the students who can go to college, it will not change much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Beijing is very far away from Zhuhai, so when the message comes, it can be rather clouded, can't it?
But now educational policy will implement strongly, and then not will be reduced the power.
That I absolutely agree with that one. Yes, I can see that very much being the case, and that's a good thing for the classroom. Here's a good example. Just going back to the maths. This same guy goes, when teaching a maths problem, he would sometimes encourage his students to explore different answers, only to be told by some of them that their Chinese teacher already told them one fixed answer. He said situations like these might make the learning process more difficult for the students who are handling two sets of ideas at the same time. Now, again, this is like looking at this bottle and saying, okay, it's a Sabon water bottle, wonderful. But again, looking at it from different angles, although that's right, what else could we possibly say about this? And I wonder, as this maths example shows, does this not move into this very stereotypical idea that a Chinese student and the way they learn in China pulls down that creative kind of way of looking at things from different ways. Just like you did with the analogy. You broke it apart and said, well, look, good analogy, I have another one.
Yeah.
I just wonder again, is that really the truth? Do we really think that's happening? Is China really, really that uncreative? Is there really no discussion going on in classrooms?
Okay. This quotation is not nonsense. This is the first thing I say. And the second, I will say, it's not hard, severe, like what the quotation says. I want to listen to a lot of good teachers. We have 特级教师, like excellent teachers in the cities, in the country-wise. When I listen to them, they always encourage the students thinking the question in a different way, to answer it from different angles. They always to do that. That's why they're good. And then in some very simple teacher, not simple, first tier or not tier, first from line, like
new teachers or
some rural area teachers. With the teachers not educated very much, they prefer to one fixed answer.
A standardized teacher.
Yes, you're right. The standardized
exams.
Yes, because how the teacher gets evaluated is standardized test.
And that's the problem with the system, isn't it? It's who could fault them for it, really?
Yeah, and then the teachers also, maybe because their own academic level is not that high, they don't have the ability to guide the students, but they have to assure all the students can get a question right. Nothing goes wrong. So easy things is one answer.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
They would say, okay, you can think different way. How we manage it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So the good teacher have the able to manage the different answer and get able to explain why and guide it to the correct path. So they can do that. But some standardized teacher or the factory teacher.
They
can only do one thing. So that he will not or she will not make anything wrong.
Yeah, I totally get it. Really good points there. That word you use, how do you manage more than one answer? There's big countries, a lot of people. We've got to sort them out somehow. And I think not just China, but I think we're going to realise worldwide soon that we can't manage it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might need to think, that's okay. Maybe what we need to do is we need to manage to make sure that these children growing up can manage themselves. And they don't need to have always this big controlling eye. You go back to Big Brother 1984. 1984 could be rewritten and said 2021, couldn't it? That's but we won't get into that. But totally get where you're coming from. But maybe in the pursuit of creativity and really becoming who human beings really are, which is magnificent creativity, that we might need to get off this trying of controlling and managing and always looking at it through data, which has become massive, isn't it now? Data, that's a whole other subject.
To encourage the students' creativity, that depends on their teachers, right? And then teachers should have the awareness that making wrong is not an issue. Yeah, that's how people learn.
Good point.
Yeah, and then in the Yangwei school, we borrow. There is a expert is math teacher, 数学特级教师 from Beijing, and then his philosophy called 画错教育 means you educate the children through the problems, through the wrongness. So if the student gets something wrong, you shouldn't say, oh, it's wrong, what is right? You just explain and listen to them. Why you thinking that way? And then, okay, can we thinking the other way? Just like not a white and black. Yeah. Just say white. Okay, why do you think it's a white? Is there any thoughts? The student may say, okay, maybe gray. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The challenge is, though, like you say, all that very well, like it a lot. But if that teacher gets X amount of R&B a month because of the children getting X% in their exam, they ain't going to sit down and talk about grey, are they?
Yeah.
They're going to say, right, that's black, this is white, right, move on, next. That's
Exactly,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
Okay,
You're right.
but none of that's going to be happening in your school.
Yeah, it will not, because
Excellent.
we gave a lot of money to
Okay.
teachers. And then do you find that around the world, China provided the better salary, social status, and then living environment, respect
For teachers.
to teachers
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Why do you think we're here?
Yes, so even this, the best, not best, on the labor market, on the top of the labor market, the people still not willing to do teachers. Even here, how in America, I think people willing to do finance, banking, and if nothing they can choose, they may choose to do teacher. But teacher paid very less.
Yeah, it's true. It's a really stressful job.
Very
In
stressful.
England, they actually have a teacher's hotline if you need to speak to someone. You know, because
Counseling.
counsel, kind of. You need someone to speak to, non-judgmental. Again, another story which we're going to veer away from now. But look, regulations. It's very strict in your bilingual school. You have to follow certain things from the ages of 6 to 15 years old. The Chinese children or international children who are in your school has to follow compulsory years from grades 1 to 9. And well, let's be very down about this. Notably, this has to be in Chinese. History, geography. Well, mathematics doesn't necessarily have to be, but there is a
All the
core
compulsory
focus.
education courses should be offered, and then they doesn't in. I think there's no policy indicates they have to taught in which language.
No, but there is history and geography and morals have to be in Chinese. That's what I've been told.
No
Math,
policy says that.
Really?
Because no policy says you should say taught in Chinese or English. Because in the national compulsory education, there's no English taught subject except English.
English, yeah.
So the policy does say that. So bilingual school, why do that? How a international teacher to teach Chinese history?
That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
because the
Chinese.
history, of course, would be Chinese. It's not, like we have social studies, cultural studies. We talk
Yeah.
about countries and history from different perspectives.
Yeah.
But you're right there. I see the challenge. Now, geography, on the other hand, I mean, we could come in as a foreigner and we could have a look at your national curriculum in geography. But again, I don't see that. It always seems to be the core English, science, and maths. Not in your case, of course, you're doing in Chinese, but. The geography, the morals, the history is...
Geography in Chinese textbook, it doesn't always geography. There's some cultural stuff.
Yeah.
And then how the people, the living style as well. So it's not easy for a foreigner to do that, to explain. As a foreigner, I tell Chinese students what is Chinese culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I for many years I've been digging in China to Chinese teachers. So, what actually do you teach in morals and geography? And of course, everyone's too busy. They don't want to talk to Chris. But maybe one day I'll get to know about it. It seems to be this kind of, I don't know, this cupboard where things are kept and the Chinese teachers deal with it. I almost wonder, are you hiding something, special or magical or maybe the other way around? I don't know, Mr. Chu. But the regulations, they are a challenge, are they not?
Yes. I think the regulations now is a challenge for all private schools, not only bilingual schools, all private schools. Before 2015, and then some private school can have more flexibility on their curriculum. But after that, and especially after September this year, and then the new 民处法, like a law about private or private education will get effect.
private English schools, for example, as
Not
well.
English,
It's been
all the schools.
Yeah.
All private schools.
a lot. It's been becoming much more strict. Yeah,
Yes.
in terms of what exactly are you teaching? Yeah.
Yes. So in Hengqin Yang School, in our school, we follow the regulation fully. So all those compulsory education courses will be taught in Chinese.
But that's not you don't have to choose to teach it in Chinese. You actually have to.
Yes, I think because, once you have to, the law doesn't indicate that. But how the local bureau interpreted that.
Oh, they interpreted it again, like we were saying earlier, that it should be compulsory in Chinese, right?
Yes. How can I make it more clear? Because it doesn't new. Nobody tell you what you should to do. So most of the people choose a conservative method.
Could we say it's rather grey?
Gray area? Yeah, there will be.
Let's stick to the grey. Let's be creative.
Not gray, just how the local bureau interpret that. We just follow the instruction from the local bureau.
And as a new school in a new area, the EDB, the local education bureau, it doesn't just affect Hengqin, it's all over Zhuhai, right?
The Hengqin, they have their own.
They have their own separate one.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. And again, that brings a whole new set of challenges to where you are here, where we are now. We're not in that district.
Mm-hmm.
So, my gosh.
It's a challenge. We're not know what happened, but the school choose the conservative method, and then we offer the compulsory education courses in Chinese.
Yeah. Are you going to be doing the Zhongkao and the Gaokao, your students? Will they have the choice? How's that going to work, Mr. Chu? Zhongkao being the kind of middle school national exam, the Gaokao the high school one.
Let's say Zhongkao first.
Okay.
So the Zhongkao, the students, when they go to the grade 9, the last year in the middle school, they choose whether you want to go Chinese national curriculum high school, or you're thinking about to go to international high school. You can choose different classes. But all the students will take the Zhongkao.
Okay.
Zhongkao now sort of like a graduate exam. So the high score, the Zhongkao classes, they need the score to apply for a good high score. But the international pathway core classes, they doesn't need to go Zhongkao score to go to international high school, but they will take the exam. That's the only differences. One, they all take the exam. One is need a score to go to the further education. One doesn't.
And I think you're well placed because your school, your campus, will have the ability when they do the Zhongkao to then say, hey, with the parents to make the choice. Will they either go the international route and go into like Dulwich College, Zhuhai, or will they go the Chinese route and go into the Chinese high school, which also you have on the same campus, right?
On the same campus.
So it's like two doors with like one country, two systems.
Just a one door. Only one door. Two buildings.
Okay. And then if they go into the door where it's the Chinese curriculum again for high school, then they'll go on and do the Gaokao Chinese University. If they don't go the Chinese way, they go into Dulwich, they'll do GCSEs, the British A-levels, and then they'll go abroad somewhere,
For the Gaokao side, we also offer like arts and sports route. They have specialized for the drawing or music, so that they can require the less on the Gaokao score. And also we're planning to offer the DSE, the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education. And this program allow the Hong Kong students to apply Chinese mainland university, Hong Kong, Macau, and overseas university as well.
Interesting. New route, new portal. Is that new, by the way, this idea of taking say more artsy, art, music, sport, and then that can actually be put towards your Gaokao score. Is that a new thing? Kind of like
it's not new, it's always there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
For example, if you need 550 under Gaokao to go to Jinan Daxue, like a university in Guangzhou, and if I am arts or sports students, I can want my major score to pass the line. I only need like 350 maybe.
Because you've got that skill that you can bring to the school in music
Yeah.
or something like that. Okay. Does that happen to a very small percent of Chinese students?
Yeah, that's a small percent.
Are you looking to further your career in education? Teach Now offers a convenient online teacher preparation and master's degree program completed anywhere in the world.
Reach now for Teach Now. Ain't no time for defeat now. Teachers, get off your seats now. Future generations need you now.
Work with people all over the world in a collaborative, activity-based teaching environment.
To learn more, visit teach-now.edu.
Expertise that is really outside of the box.
Now, Mr. Chu, you look like you're falling asleep. No, absolutely you're not. I know I'm keeping you. But let's just move on. Meeting market needs. So we've got very, very, invested parents in China. And much more so, I think, than in England and America. Mum or dad is around a lot and very interested in what the children are studying, and also why I'm maybe spending a lot of money for this bilingual education. So for all the reasons we've talked about with these international Chinese private schools, parents expect that teachers delivering the learning to have good skills and experiences. So there's a demand, is there not, for a high proportion of foreigners, native English-speaking teachers at your Chinese international style private schools. Now, not just good teachers, but teachers who can deliver a blended dual curriculum with sufficient expertise in Western informed pedagogy. We're talking about things like inquiry-led, student-led, the good old collaborative learning. This is apparently an important characteristic of the best premium schools. Now, the issue is, with COVID and this whole pandemic, it's more difficult now, is it not, to get good qualified teachers in to fill these positions and the high expectations of...
You're right.
How are you working on that? How's that been for you?
And this year I need 14 expat teachers. So at the beginning I get all of them, and then recent 2 weeks, three of them decided not to come because those bilingual schools are looking for teachers inside in China, so they just compete each other.
So now it's becoming a betting match, isn't it? These teachers are thinking, look, you pay me this, okay, now you pay me that. That's what I'm hearing from speaking to leaders. Not a good position, right?
Yeah. So this gave me a lot of challenge, but our school didn't really raise the salary because of that. So because we don't want to hurt the old teachers' feeling.
Right. Well, yeah, of course, that's something you need to think about.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt their feelings. And then another thing is they should say how they should have reasonable expectations. If the border is open, more teachers coming, they will lose their job, right? And because they're always finding the teacher is looking someone pay more, the teacher looking for someone pay less, right? And then also with some good quality. It's hard. I just tell them the vision and how the management system in our school with the professional development we can offer. We hopefully, we do stay some teachers here. I love their attitude. That's a working ethic.
I mean, that's going to be a challenge. I hope not for the considerable future. I hope things do open up again. But how do we know what's going on? But it's certainly a challenge that, yes, you've just attested to. You're having this issue. This is some research here We like to have a bit of research in these
Yeah.
podcasts. It says the growth of teachers is massive. There's more supply of these types of schools we're talking about, so there's going to be more demand for bringing these teachers in. It's hard because you can't bring teachers in
Yes.
at the moment. So you're having to deal with the ones that are already in here, and they're not stupid. They're wanting to make more money. But apparently, around 64,700 teachers are going to need to be employed at China's international schools in the 2023-24 academic year. At least 37,000 of who will be foreign teachers. Okay, so it's also involving local Chinese teachers in that. So 37,000 teachers, of which I'm one of them. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
When you think about China's population, it's nothing, but it's a lot. And listeners, Mr. Chu was wiping his forehead when we started talking about recruitment challenges at the moment. And again, it's finding good teachers, but also keeping them, isn't
Yes.
it, as well?
Yeah.
And that is hard, however much of a vision you give them, right?
That's true. We do have some disadvantage to keep good teachers like you, because we could not offer so many free tuition for.
Well, it's because I have too many children, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's my problem.
For a basketball team.
They could have got a basketball scholarship. You never offered me that.
Now you have 4 children.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and
4.
plus you may have the one more in the future.
No.
You have a team.
That's for you now,
You
Mr.
have
Chu.
basketball team.
You take the baton on. Yeah. How many do you have? 2.
1.
1. Yes, clever man.
Yeah.
That's why you're about to become assistant principal. But yes, it's about trying to keep them the retention, and I think it's very difficult. I think another thing with this whole pandemic is that teachers come over here thinking that they can travel around Asia and see China, and go back to see mum and dad and brothers and sisters once a year. We can't at the moment.
Yeah, no, they can't. Very sad.
So yeah, it's very sad. And as I said, let's fingers crossed that all this madness is pushed away and we can just get on with.
And also some teachers that I want to interview, and also my teachers of my friends, they have a longer commitment to stay in China now, so they feel safer.
That's the flip side, isn't it?
Yeah, and the people are friendly, and the living is not expensive. When they live there, they have more hope to staying here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that. Quality of life. I mean, well, you know, I've been here for quite a while. All my children are born here. I have a lot to thank for your lovely country. So, another challenge, and I think you're going to agree with me on this, is the upskilling of Chinese teachers. And it's going to be a key to this successful expansion in China of these schools, bilingual schools. How are you going to upskill the Chinese teachers? Because let's be honest, you can bring in 37,000 foreign teachers, post-pandemic, pre-pandemic, whatever. But essentially, the backbone of the success of these bilingual schools is going to be in the local teachers and the local teachers' talents. You know, my vision is big enough to see that. And there's a wide range of ones I've worked with over the years. Like there's a wide range of foreign teachers. But you alluded to it earlier as well when you were saying about the homeroom teacher, this idea that comes from very much a Western pedagogy of how to get the Chinese local teachers into understanding that process, that more holistic way. It's a challenge, right?
Yes, it's a challenge. That's not how those teachers grow up, and also it's not how they get trained at their teacher college.
So how are you going to meet this challenge, you think, moving forward?
So now, firstly, we recruit a lot of teachers that study abroad and come back. That's like me, and then they know what is homeroom style, and then how to do project-based learning, part-based learning, with the conversation style, or how to encourage the students to share your opinion and feel confidence. A lot of time, the teacher should feel confidence when the students say something differently. And then that is the key thing. That is kind of mindset. So that's one student study abroad. That's one solution. And the second is to keep giving the professional development. Sometimes the Chinese teacher, local teacher, they know how to do. They just lack of the awareness and the mindset, and then their understanding, lack of their understanding. So when we gave some training for those teachers, we use a transformative education, this methodology called transformative, and more like to change people's behavior. So from telling, so you tell them and they know it. So more like cognitive. And the second step is a social emotion, like more like whether I feel comfortable, whether I feel happy with it, where I feel okay with it. And the fourth step is why really make the action. I can take the initial and really do it. And then the fourth, the behavior changed. So that is cognitive, emotion, and action. So that's three.
And so this training happens, was just a one-off type of training you do, or this is something that goes through the year that your local staff will be involved in? It's a kind of long-term growth
That's a
mechanism.
very, very long term, because you want to change people's behavior and mindset. It's never easy.
No.
Like marriage, you never change your mind. Right? So, but the work is not always the person. Work have regulations and evaluation that you do. You just tell them to do, and then when they really do it, they feel okay. I can do it. Just follow. So it's a long term.
I think also work with many Chinese, whether we call them assistants.
We call that co-teacher here.
Co-teacher here. We call them cripes. I forgot. It's been a hard year. Practitioners, CPs, clinical practitioners, classroom practitioners.
Oh my God, that's a hard name.
So many different names, but they're very important and essential in a bilingual environment, because as foreign teachers, a lot of us don't have the Mandarin skills to be able to, to teach in that language. So we need our assistants, our co-teachers, to co-teach sometimes. Of course, there's the problem there with the role of the delineations. If you're a co-teacher, then does that mean they're teaching?
Yeah, there are a lot of ways.
Ways.
The co-teaching, the patrol, or you just research about that. We have a seminar talk about that.
And again, like the different bilingual schools, it's the rabbit hole runs very deep. But I would say, looking to the future, as we bring this podcast to an end, Mr. Chu, is talking about the co-teachers and the difficulty with foreign teachers, we're finding them now, finding good ones.
Yeah.
Surely the future is to get more and more trained bilingual teachers from China to replace the expensive, moaning, time-consuming and disruptive foreign teachers, right?
There is a trend and a prediction about that, but I don't think so. Because once you bilingual teachers, the teachers have the ability to speak Mandarin and English, but the mindset, the way, the culture awareness, and how the aspect of teacher to interact with the students, they're differently. So they always, when we say we offer bilingual education, it's not only language, not only knowledge, they're also about global awareness and their international understanding. So those international teachers, they also contribute in this part, which cannot be easily replaced by those bilingual teachers.
Even by a robot. Even if you got a robot.
No robot.
A Chris robot. Yeah.
Never.
We'd have to program it first. But talking about trend, from the years I've been coming here and seen Zhuhai change exponentially, there is a trend that I saw in the early days when I came here. There were a lot of what I would call foreign businessmen, corporate family contracts. So they'd come over here to work for the foreign companies, the MTUs, the EPCOSs, and they'd be on a really nice package. The kids would get schooling. They'd obviously be the leader in the factory and the link with their operations at HQs outside of China. But that over the years, the trend has started to decline. And what you see more is now is Chinese middle management, Chinese leaders stepping up now to take those original positions that the expats would come in to do.
Yeah.
So I know you alluded to it that you hear there's rumours that this might happen, and I kind of said it rather tongue-in-cheek about getting rid of us. But I think you will, let's look in the future here, the next 10 years, 20 years, I think you will start to see a decline.
Yes.
It's only natural, right?
Yes, I think it will be natural for the business, because the result of the business is earning the money, getting the money, right? If the Chinese leadership or managers, they already get trained well, they know how to make the money for the company and with less salary package and labor cost, it definitely will change. That's to say the result. How about the school? If the school's result is only language and academic, if those kind of school, that is their goal, then definitely they will choose some more capable bilingual teachers. But some school, they may have the vision, say, I want our school, for example, UWC, United World College, they try to create a small UN, so that they will still using the international teachers.
You say small UN like a United Nations?
Yes.
Yes, we've already got one of those. I wouldn't mind getting rid of that one. We don't need any more. Okay, very good points there, actually, to listen to. Heed Mr. Chu's warnings, listeners, because yes, it does feed into what the actual objective, the business model is all about. We mentioned earlier, bilingual education isn't just something that happens in China.
No.
And in fact, in your experience in America, there's immersive bilingual education happening there, and also in my country. But America is, as it is for many things, is a leading nation. And so this is one where we look at it, and we've done some research, it's very much, again, the forefront of bilingual education, certainly in the West. 200 schools, apparently, Mr. Chu, are adopting a bilingual approach to education, from New York all the way over, as I see here, to Kensington in London. They live and breathe Mandarin Chinese, love this, as well as many of the cultural norms associated with language. Maybe they'll be making dumplings and drinking Chinese tea in the afternoon instead of tea and biscuits. And it's open to, this is free to 11 years old. They do, apparently, like you said, morning time would be English and afternoon would be Chinese, or vice versa. It does say here, Europe is light years behind the United States. And again, what I just said, it comes to bilingual education. So you've seen it. It's happening. Is bilingual education schools, are they the future of primary education? In and outside of China?
Outside of China?
Yeah.
I don't think there will be future, but there will be more. Because I think a Western world doesn't really care about foreign language for many years.
Yeah.
And then if now, and after that, American, I think UK as well, they're thinking about the foreign languages are useful and also the 21st century, and then they decided to do something. So the American do Spanish, French, Japanese, Chinese, and those immersion program. So just like if you were the head of school or head of education minister, you will say, oh, my education system need to teach foreign language. Which language you would like to offer? Right? You will think about that.
Yeah. I
make my master dissertation about motivation to learn Chinese in Scotland area.
Sorry, it fell off my seat. Yeah.
Not many people.
I was going to say, how and what was the conclusion?
But there is a Confucius Institute and a Confucius classroom in Scotland, in Aberdeen. The local authority said, we don't, we want to have something new. want the children to experience the different culture and the language, and then but we don't have the budget for that.
Oh, there you go.
So all those teachers living expense or traveling expense in the paid by Chinese government. What I want to say is they're willing to try it, and then I asked them, well, why do you want to try? For the government authorities, they may think I want to offer something new, and then but I don't have money. Who can pay for the things? I just choose which one.
Yeah.
That's the government officials' thoughts. When I talk to the students, some school they offer different languages. They have world language department.
Yeah.
When they ask them why you choose Chinese, why we choose a particular language, someone will say I choose French or Spanish because they're easy to learn. They're all about the letters, and then they say I want to learn Chinese because the country is growing. I want to go there. I want to do business.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So turned out the result is 80% students who want to learn Chinese because Chinese becoming the second biggest economic entity.
Oh, you better get the Confucius Institute over there ASAP to Aberdeen. Yeah. That would be a.
They already
expand. They need to expand.
Yeah.
Get into these different places. But that's interesting. So, well, there's no doubt Mandarin spreading. I did French and German when I was at school.
Yeah.
And I wish I had Mandarin there as well. So different. I think, again, going back to that word diversity, I think it's a brilliant thing. And I hope more British schools do adopt it. Conclusion.
Yeah.
Bilingual students can freely wander between two different languages, learning systems and cultures, which will ready them to learn more new things quickly and create a global person that will suit in the internationalization wave. I think they're a good thing.
Yeah, definitely agree with this statement.
Yeah, okay. Well, one other thing before we leave. Over the next 15 years, Mr. Chu, the number of high-income residents in top-tier cities such as Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Shenzhen is expected to double. The number of families able to afford the tuition of schools like yours and mine are therefore going to increase rapidly and will continue to do so. So for the near future, 15 years, bar having another pandemic, of course, because we could see one of those come in, the future looks pretty bright for bilingual education and people like yourself, right?
Yeah, we can see that. But also the public schools is growing and taking the space was belong to private schools. So I think the public school also learn from the bilingual education from the experiment. They may take the result of the experiment from the school like us.
Yeah. And it'll be cheaper.
Yes, and I think the public school now, I already see some Shenzhen public school offer bilingual education free to a lot of students. And then they may not use a lot of expat teachers. They use the bilingual local Chinese teachers. So I think the government know that, and those bilingual ideas, they say it. So I think they were working on that. And then also for the teaching pedagogies, we're using homeroom discussion, encourage students innovative and critical thinking ways. They will all spend their money on that. So the public schools will be the competitor. We are not the competitor. Yeah.
Interesting point, that actually.
I think the Chinese public school is doing really well, and it's changed huge over decades. For Shenzhen, Beijing, and Shanghai, those big cities will firstly to offer international characteristics in the public school.
Yeah, good point. And international schools, as in the schools that can only accept non-Chinese passports, what do we think about the future of them, Mr. Chu? Because, again, if we look 10 years from now, I could see my hand slowly starting to drop. From what I can see, things are tightening up, becoming more strict. I think there could be these international schools are almost like islands where they can teach what they want.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that suits the current sentiment of where China's going. What do you think about that?
I haven't had any research about that, but I think from the demand, I think in future, I think there will be more foreigners will come to China for living or work. Their children need to go to school. If they still think they want to keep their home country education, the international school still have market. If one day come to China and they think the country's education is okay, it's good, I want the children to explore the Chinese culture and language. For example, our friend Sana would like to have their children in Chinese school.
Go shout out to Sana on the China Jeducation. Yes, absolutely, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will decide to put their children in Chinese mainstream Chinese school. If the public school can offer the same quality like the private school.
Yeah.
So I think those foreign friends will like to put their children in public school as well.
Again, Mr. Chu, some very good points. I have enjoyed our talk today. Before we finish, have you ever seen the BBC TV series? I'm sure some of the listeners would have. It was called Are Our Kids Tough Enough?
Yeah, I watched that.
You've watched that? Now, I would say anyone who hasn't watched it, please go and watch it, because I thought it was quite fascinating. And it was about some Chinese leaders came over to England and they had a partnership with a school. I can't remember, the school might have been up north, I don't know. And they took over a part of the school, didn't they?
Yeah.
Taught in a Chinese way, like the Chinese curriculum, the Chinese style. And then they did their exams after that. So I mean, half of the school carried on normal, doing it the British way. And then half of the school then took the exams after having the Chinese way. And the conclusions were that the children who were in the Chinese stream got
better exam
results. Right. But you were left with the dropping conclusion, were we not, that actually there were other things that they didn't get, maybe that the other stream that weren't in the Chinese system did. And it left me with this kind of thing of, and I think it's where we are in the world today, and I want to end on a positive, is that with bilingual education, it really is about the plan, the experiment, the goal of the experiment is to get those best of both worlds together.
Yes.
Because that TV series showed us one thing, that we can learn from the Eastern way of things, and the East can learn from the Western way of things. Would you agree with that?
Agree. We both should learn. And then I like your point is the international education to bond the world together. We borrow and learn each other. Yeah, I think because we all nurture the next generation and the future of the world. Right?
Well, let's hope we do more bonding and integrating than separating, right?
Yeah.
As we move forward. But yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chu. And I hope at some point we can have you on again later on, because it's an interesting journey. You're going to be taking on a new school. And boy, you're going to have a lot of challenges with the new school. So I hope we can touch base again and go over to see how things are going, yeah?
Yeah, I think we should keep in touch, and then we share the working experience, and then our teachers. I think our teachers can visit each other's school.
I think that's a marvelous idea.
Yes, so now I think we're in the same area, but we all want to recruit the students, but we never be the teacher. The academic world shouldn't be competitors. We always work together and offer better education to the children.
This is it.
Yeah,
that's a good mindset to have.
Yes, let the marketing people, the mission people fight themselves.
Do all that, yeah.
And
yes,
we always can work together.
Lovely. Well, on that note, Mr. Chu, thanks again, and thanks for listening, everyone. This is China Jedi, people.
If you're an English-speaking teacher from anywhere in the world and you have a bachelor's degree but need an official and accredited teaching license to get a job, get a visa to teach abroad, or most importantly to learn all those things you wish you knew before you stood in front of 30 plus students, then reach now to Teach Now and secure a professional US District of Columbia license in as little as 9 months. Online in no time, low cost, high quality, Teach Now. Get in the game. Immediately receive a $100 discount off your tuition by signing up to the Teach Now program via the link www.teach-now.edu/China Jedi.
May the smile be with you.